The message came at 3:14 in the morning. Every screen on Earth, every phone, every television, every monitor in every city turned on by itself. No one pressed a button. No one made a call. The screens just turned on. And the face of Admiral Vethkar of the Galactic Council filled every single one of them. He had a long face, pale gray skin, and eyes like cold yellow glass. He did not blink. He spoke in a flat, slow voice, as if he were reading something boring from a piece of paper. He said that Earth had been given many chances to comply with the Council's resource extraction orders. He said that humanity had refused each time. He said that 5,000 warships were already on their way. He said that Earth had 72 hours to surrender everything, its metals, its water, its people as labor, or be destroyed. Then his face disappeared. The screens went dark. For a moment, the whole planet was quiet. Then the panic started. People ran into the streets. Governments called emergency meetings. News reporters shouted over each other. Some people cried. Some people prayed. Some people started filling bags with food and water, not knowing where they planned to go. But deep under the surface, in a long concrete bunker beneath the Nevada desert, General Mara Okonkwo watched the message once, just once. Then she turned her chair away from the screen and looked at the room full of people around her, officers, scientists, engineers. They were all already at their stations. They were all already working. She picked up a cold cup of coffee from the table beside her and took a long sip. Nobody in that room looked afraid. They had been waiting for this moment for 30 years, not because they wanted war, but because they had watched how the Galactic Council treated every other species it came across. And they had decided, quietly and very carefully, that when the day came, Earth would not be caught unprepared, out in space. Between the cold distance of Jupiter and Mars, 5,000 enemy warships moved through the dark. Their lights were off. Their engines hummed. Their crews laughed and talked and played card games. None of them had ever lost a battle before. None of them had ever heard of a species that fought back and won. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Admiral Vethkar stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the planet grow larger on the screen. Earth, blue and green and small. He had seen hundreds of planets like it. He had taken all of them. His sensors showed a few small human ships moving near the asteroid belt. They were old and slow and running away from him. He smiled. He had seen that before too. The weak always ran first. He opened a channel back to the Council and told them everything was going exactly as expected. He never noticed that the ships were not running away from him. They were leading him forward. For 30 years, Earth had been building things that nobody could see. Deep in the asteroid belt, disguised as ordinary rock and dead metal, there were thousands of automated weapons platforms. They had been sitting cold and silent for decades, waiting. They looked like space debris. They were anything but. In the shadow of dark moons and behind the curve of Saturn's rings, there was a fleet of human ships built like nothing the Council had ever seen. They were small and black and completely invisible to every sensor the aliens used, because humanity had spent 20 years studying those sensors and learning exactly how to fool them. These ships had no big guns. They did not need them. They moved like ghosts and hit like hammers, and disappeared before anyone could respond. And at the center of all of it was a weapon built into the body of the asteroid series itself. 30 years of digging, 30 years of engineering, a device that did not shoot anything. It did not explode. It simply bent the space around it into a narrow corridor, and anything caught inside that corridor was pulled apart at the level of atoms. General Okonkwo watched the tactical screen as all 5,000 enemy ships sailed deeper into the asteroid belt, packed together in a tight formation the way a confident army always moves. When it does not expect trouble, she waited until the last ship crossed the line. Then she said one word. The platforms woke up. The ghost ships fired and vanished. The weapon inside series hummed once, low and deep, like a note too big for music. On the tactical screen, 5,000 red lights went out, not all at once, in waves, like a fire going dark from one end to the other. It took for minutes and 58 seconds. Then the screen was empty. Nobody in the bunker cheered. Nobody shouted. General Okonkwo set down her coffee cup. One of the young officers near the back of the room put his face in his hands, not from sadness, but because he did not know what else to do with the feeling inside him. Somewhere far above them, on a beach in South Africa, a woman named Amara stepped outside her house because all the news channels had gone silent. She looked up at the sky. The stars were still there. They looked the same as always. She did not know exactly what had just happened, but she could feel, in some way she could not explain, that something had changed forever. The Galactic Council received the silence and did not understand it at first. They sent a follow-up signal to Admiral Vethkar. No reply. They sent a second signal. Nothing. They sent a full-range scan of the Sol system looking for the 5,000 ships. The scan came back clean. No wreckage, no debris field, no distress calls, no bodies floating in the dark, just empty space where a fleet used to be, as if it had never existed at all. For the first time in 800 years, the Galactic Council called an emergency session with every member species present. Earth sent one ship. It was not a warship. It was old and small and a little scratched on the left side. It carried no weapons that any Council scanner could detect. It docked quietly in the Council station the same way a fishing boat might pull into a harbor. The person who walked off that ship was Ambassador Chen Wei. She was 70 years old. She had short white hair and wore a plain gray suit. She carried a data chip in one hand and a thermos of green tea in the other. She was shown into the main Council chamber, where 300 species sat in tiered galleries above her, staring down in total silence. She walked to the center of the floor. She put the data chip on the podium. It projected a single image into the air above her head. The tactical display of the battle, 5,000 red lights moving through space. Then for minutes and 58 seconds of those lights going out one by one. Then nothing. She let them look at it for a while. Then she began to speak. She told them that humans were not a young species. She told them that her people had survived for separate civilizational collapses and rebuilt each time from almost nothing. They had survived an ice age with no technology. They had survived a meteor strike that wiped out most of the life on their planet. They had survived wars against each other for thousands of years and somehow, slowly, found a way to stop. She said that surviving yourself was harder than surviving anything else, and humans had done it. She told them that humans did not want war. They never had. But she said that when someone pointed a weapon at her people did not panic and they did not beg. They measured the problem, and they solved it. She picked up her thermos, took a small sip of tea, and said the last part very quietly. She told the Council that what happened to those 5,000 ships was not done in anger. It was done in math. She said Earth was ready to solve for any other outcome the Council might prefer. The choice, as always, was theirs. The chamber was completely silent for a long time. Then the representative of a small species called the Mirati, people who had once been saved from a Council purge by human intelligence networks running in secret, stood up and began to clap. One pair of hands, then another, then 5 more, then 20. Not all 300 species, but enough. Enough that the sound filled the room. Back on Earth, on a quiet beach somewhere on the coast of Nigeria, General Mara Okonkwo sat with her granddaughter and watched the ocean move. The little girl was digging in the wet sand with both hands, building something complex and careful. She looked up at her grandmother and asked if the aliens would come back. Okonkwo thought about it for a moment. She watched the water pull back from the shore and rush forward again. She said that some of them might, but they would knock first. Her granddaughter seemed satisfied. With that answer, she went back to building her thing in the sand. It was taking shape now. Something with walls and towers and small careful rooms. Okonkwo watched her for a while and said nothing. The ocean kept moving. The sky above them was clear and very blue and went on forever. It was the most human thing in the galaxy. To sit in the quiet after the storm, to watch a child build something new, and to call that home.